Welcome to Crypto OGs.
Welcome to Crypto OGs. Today we are at the Nerd Studio in Utah. I had an amazing time here with the people from Connect and also with my good friend Jeff from Galvan.
Yep.
Thank you, Jeff, for being on the show. So let's start from the first question is, who is Jeff Wilhite?
Wilhite.
Wilhite.
You're good. That's
Will
okay. I'm just a regular guy. I'm a family man. Have 5 kids. Been married. What are we at? 28 years now, and so I've been live in California. Just recently became a grandfather.
Congratulations.
My whole career, talking about that, I've always wanted to match the person that I was at home with who, the project that you're doing, that you're doing good, that all your values are aligned. I remember early in my business career, I have a business degree, and came out, I felt like I'm supposed to be this kind of person with my wife and my children and be a little cutthroat in business and what can we do to, and I didn't like how that matched up. And so I ended up, in healthcare and working in health and wellness, because I said, hey, at least what I'm working towards is betterment for the other people. They can live a healthier, happier life, and it helps them. And so you feel good that you're doing something good, as well as taking care of your family, or you're doing something good for the world,
Okay. Amazing, Jeff. So to put everybody in context a little bit, I'm here in Utah, so I got invited by Connect, and we're in the office of Nerd, and then we met 3 days ago, with Jeff in a beautiful ranch. We were basically having a meeting with a couple of projects, and the first thing that we hit on with Jeff was talking about health. So you saw my Aura ring, and also I was checking everything you've been doing with Galvan. But let's go a little back because, people is still thinking about crypto, and people still thinking about health. They cannot be combined, but they actually can be combined, blockchain and crypto. So before I start to talk about Galvan, let's start to talk about your experience within crypto and how you ended up in Galvan. Like, when do you start in crypto?
Perfect. So I got in crypto probably 2016 is when I first kind of got involved in crypto, and a good friend introduced me to it, showed me, he actually gave me a little bit of Bitcoin, and it said this. I'm like, what is this? This is this weird. I don't understand what it was, and I'm like, this seems weird. I just thought I didn't know it was going to go anywhere, but what I realized very soon is as I kind of paid more attention, and as everybody that kind of got involved, you kind of see Bitcoin start to get more adoption and grow. And I'm like, okay, maybe there's something here. And so I start looking and learning more and start sharing it with my family. And I realized that I'm kind of a, how do you say it? I call myself like kind of a blockchain purists. I love like the first principles of blockchain that Bitcoin had, that Satoshi kind of put out there, right? All those tenets. And I realized those are things that are needed in the industry that I work in, which is health. And I've always been in healthcare. I worked, I'll say, within the system. I worked with some of the big pharmaceutical companies, big healthcare providers within the system. I worked in entrepreneurial fashion, or like consulting, where I tried to consult and say, hey, how can we make this system better? And then I worked in the entrepreneurial thing, started different ventures. We owned and operated clinics and labs and pharmacies, and we're taking the venture saying, how can we navigate healthcare and kind of fix it? Because what I realized, and what I think a lot of people do, is although there are great people within healthcare, doctors, nurses, they want to help people. Even on the wellness side, all the fitness people, they want people to get better and have better lives. But sometimes the incentives or the goals are not aligned, right? So like in healthcare, you realize there's just things that are broken. Sometimes the care that somebody needs is not available under that insurance, or that provider doesn't want you to have that. And you're like, but if that's what's best for this individual, that's what we should give. And and so you started realizing there were problems here, and they were misaligned. And to go back to those kind of tenets of blockchain, for me, I was like, decentralization is a buzzword they use, but I think is really powerful if you really stick to true decentralization, because healthcare was highly centralized, whether it's in other countries where it's the government, socialized medicine, or here in the United States where there's like insurance companies. They make all the decisions on what is best maybe financially, what costs the least, rather than what is best for the individual and their health. And so I think it was some of those things initially that really attracted me. I said, we can get transparency, the first principle, we can get ownership where the individuals own it, because right now in healthcare, all your information, you don't own your information. It's owned by the system, the government or the healthcare providers. They own all your data, and they use your data to do studies and other things, but it's not yours. And so I was like, okay, wait, you have ownership, you have transparency while still keeping anonymity, right? That's a beautiful thing about blockchain that fits really well with healthcare. I want the doctors and the providers to know everything about me, but I also want it to be very private, because I don't want the world to know. It's my personal information, but I need it to be transparent. So anyway, so there's just a lot of those tenets. And then, obviously the whole incentivization side of blockchain. Here's a way that people can be incentivized to be healthy and make good decisions. I know in wellness and exercise and healthcare, it's one of the biggest problems is they're like, we'll teach you what to do to be healthy. We'll teach you, the doctor will give you, hey, this is what you do to be healthy. But one of their biggest problems is patients, or at a gym, a trainer, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Are you eating what you're supposed to be eating? If you follow the plan, you'll have results. Yeah. And so, hey, we can incentivize that a little bit with, in crypto. So that's kind of where I came from and why I started to love, blockchain, true blockchain. Like I said, real blockchain. And then on a personal level, just to tell you, and so then I started looking at it, and we started getting involved in other cool projects that were out there and playing some of the altcoins and doing some of that stuff. And I started looking at it, and not to be, it's like it was really hard to navigate, because everybody talked about doing certain things, but they were kind of just emulating blockchain, or they would use just the digital currency part, or they would use just the, a blockchain part of it, but it was still a very centralized project. Or then there's, a lot of mistrust. There's all the scams that happen and stuff. And so, like everybody, I started getting into it and trying to navigate that. I'm like, man, this is really hard to know and be able to figure out which ones are good projects and which ones aren't. So I believe the technology, those tenets of blockchain, distributed ledger, immutable, security, I think that can do a lot in a lot of industries and really change the world if applied right. But it's kind of hard to apply right. So you got a lot of people taking shortcuts, and it's too hard to decentralize. Let's just cheat it. Let's just do an ICO or a meme coin and just scam people for money instead of So that's So that's kind of where I came from and kind of where I'm at with blockchain stuff.
With blockchain. Yeah. Jeff, it's interesting because to put in context a little bit of people that are watching this or listening to this podcast, when we start to talk is because you saw my Aura ring. And something that helped me the last 6 months is to have a very good consciousness about how much I am sleeping. Because sometimes when you're an entrepreneur or you're working too much, you get like fatigue or anxiety or panic attacks. And that's because people don't sleep well. So that's why I got the Aura ring. And then we start to talk about Galvan with Jeff, because he was showing me how the app is working with artificial intelligence recognition of your voice, how tired you are. So I'm very passionate and very bullish into wealth and health, right? And into apps. So I really like what you're doing with Galvan. So I want to dig a little bit into this. So a month ago, I was in Singapore. So I was interviewing the founder of StepN. So, that was like the first project that people start to realize, okay, you can get incentivized to walk, right? But obviously, that was the first one, but obviously it has some flags, right? Like some improvements. But then you told me about Galvan. What you're doing is not only about walking, you get reward also for different things. So let's dive into Galvan. But before diving into Galvan, how you ending up becoming the president, not putting labels, of Galvan?
We were joking, I think, right before this that we feel really weird in a blockchain decentralized project having titles. Like, our goal at Galvan, just to speak to that, is, I guess I'm one of the leaders or people that are trying to inception the project and basically release it into the world and have it be decentralized. It has to start somewhere. So for when we're working with other companies or people that are used to old terms, we're saying, okay, well, this is a title, so it's kind of funny. But Yeah, so I got into so actually my friend who introduced me to the blockchain back in like 2016, give me a little crypto.
Yeah.
He started to have some success, and he kind of taught me a lot about the blockchain, about those like the pure blockchain, the first principles and those things, and a good lifelong friend, been a friend for many years, and we were just talking, and he's the one that kind of sparked the idea that hey, the blockchain would solve a lot of the problems in the industry you work in. Like this, if you do it right and do the hard work and take the long path, implementing a blockchain the right way, instead of just some quick pump and dump thing, you can really do some stuff. And so it really intrigued me. And I was like, yeah, let's look at this. And so we started to look at all the details and started to attract the right people. My partner and the leader in at Galvan, Dr. Adam Sharp, that anybody goes on our website will be able to meet and see videos. As it came, got involved a few years ago, and we started to attract the right people, and we said, we can really do this. It's really starting to make sense to a lot of big, health and wellness, leaders. So yeah.
Amazing. So now let's dig very into Galvan, because it's not only an application that a couple of people that didn't have any experience within the health industry put it together just to get rewarded for a couple of steps.
Right.
No, you are a very professional in the health industry. So you have medical doctors, everybody in the advisory part. So let's talk about that. Who is the team behind Galvan? Because it's very important to know the team either from the blockchain side, but also from the medical side.
Yes, that's great. So we went out, and as we started pulling our best contacts, so the blockchain side, we can speak to that, but we have people that have done some really big projects that have created the full, ecosystem technologically from nodes. Just to speak to it real quick, I mean, on the blockchain side, we're really proud of it. We are our own layer one, the native token, blockchain, and it's a full operating blockchain. It's we're creating a full ecosystem there, and we've created all the things around it, distributed or non-custodial wallets, because we're big on those tenets. We try to, so you have non-custodial wallet tech that we have. We use node software to create the computing power for the blockchain, right? Just so software that people can run on computers or servers or whatever. And so we have a node network of people. And so we created all that with some blockchain. Again, I kind of use the word purist, that we're all like in it to really do blockchain the right way. And so the tech wise, we have some incredible people on that front. People that have done big things in mining. Some of them were the biggest Bitcoin miners in North America for a couple of years, and have done other many great projects. And again, you name some of these people, but we have Tom Karen, Ray Thurston. We have a bunch of the technology guys. Nerd, we partnered with Nerd here. We're at their studios. Nerd's been a great. They've gathered all the blockchain gurus, or Jedi as we like to call them, together, and we utilize them as kind of the technology backbone that we use to implement our project. Right. On the healthcare side, we went out and got some really good. Some people that have done some big things. Again, my partner Adam Sharp, I'll brag about him, but he, someday you should have him on and have him talk about himself. But he's done some really big things. He was a doctor in a really big medical system in the U.S. and he was involved in research. So he was looking at all the data and the research and seeing what procedures, what medicines, what things worked best for the patient, trying to do the best things. And so he helped start a medical school. He's done some things. He's really understands the medical system in the U.S., but even just the delivery of healthcare to individuals. And so some of the people that he would work with doing research, like studies and research, renowned stuff, have come and advised us on how we can, start doing things and what our roadmap is. And it's a long roadmap. I'll be honest, it's kind of almost a boil the ocean type of roadmap. That, we're starting with some things that have immediate impact, but we have a plan that it can keep growing and expanding and do a lot and accomplish a lot. And so we have some great advisors. We have some advisors that have And you could read some of their names on our website, but we have some that have done some incredible things in research as far as developing drugs and developing medications that have helped cancer, cancer drugs, and brought things all the way to market that are making a big impact in helping people that are suffering from certain kinds of cancer. And so we just have, again, we capture these people and we talk to them about what was not working. And they said, it's really hard that here's a cancer medication. I'll tell this story real quick. And he said, his name's David Beers. He's on our advisory board, and he's a renowned kind of scientist, researcher that has created these medications and brought them to market. And he talked about, he goes, one of the saddest things I saw was we've developed something that can really help people, and they don't have access to it because the system is so centralized and so so many middlemen, which that's what, again, blockchain can take that away. But there's so many middlemen. The people that have cancer, and this is very true in the United States and maybe in other countries as well, but when they suffer, they have to mortgage their house. It's so expensive. And you're like, why, when you're in the worst battle of your life, are your medications the most expensive? Yeah. And it just seemed because the pharmaceutical companies patented it, need to, want to take a cut. And it just seems like they're profiting off the people that they shouldn't be, right? And so there's things that just don't seem aligned, right? And I think there's people, doctors and people that want to help them. But anyway, so David Beers is like, this is a problem I've seen. I've brought these great medications to market, and people don't have access to the people that really need it. Only people that have the money to afford it can get it. And we're like, okay, how can we disrupt this whole industry, flatten it, get the patient working directly with the providers, directly with the, get all the waste and all the centralization out of it, and it can really benefit the cost, the availability, the transparency, and the ownership, that you really know what's happening.
So, Jeff, I probably haven't said this, but before we dig into the app, I used to work for the National Health Service in the UK. Okay. So we did we helped the nurses and the doctors to come from books and to take notes, to have a system on the computer. So myself, I deployed like 3,000 laptops and teach these people how to set up their account within the software that the National Health Service was doing. Yeah. But it was very challenging. So I understand how challenging it can be from a perspective of people that are putting technology and health together, to the mainstream, or in this case, people that need these kind of apps to become even healthier, let's call it like that, or have a very better track record of their health. So my question is, how is Galvan going to solve this for the mass adoption of people? Because technology is here to stay, and we have the young people, they're used to use it. Yeah. But then we have the challenge of people that are probably a little bit older, people in their 70s, 80s. Yeah. So my question is, how intuitive is the app is going to be for all these people?
That's a good question. And that is the challenge. It's a challenge, actually, to be honest, in blockchain in general. There's adoption of a certain demographic, and we're trying to help it make it easier for, like you said, all our grandmas and grandpas and people to utilize it. And that is the challenge. That's a big challenge, to be honest. But one thing that we know. So, for example, like you were talking about your medical data, from paper getting onto electronic form. Yeah. One of the things of that is it doesn't go with you. If you ever move
to another
country, or in the United States, if you move to another state and you change health plans, it's very difficult to get your information and move it with you.
You know what happened to me recently? Sorry. I went to a TV show next year, and then it was a massive form that I have to do it for they had to make sure I'm healthy and stuff like that. Yeah. And they start to ask me like, can you provide where do you born, and can you tell us the telephone number of the hospital that you're born so we can contact them? I said, okay, try. And in Colombia, right? Yeah. And then they're asking me like, can we contact your GP in UK and Dubai? And I said, how are they going to contact them? So I was thinking, when you were talking about this, I was thinking, for the production that putting the TV program together, it will be amazing to have Galvan, all my records, send it to them.
You have it with you, you own it, you take it with you. And it's interesting. And there's also another issue that, the history that we care about as an individual, I want to know my patterns, my trends, what's
Yes.
happening with me. Am I getting better? Am I getting worse in this area? And maybe in some records, but most records that the government, or they use it for the billing purposes.
Yes.
So they know how much the medical records were created so the hospital system know how much to charge your insurance so they do that. But that's not what's important to me. What's important to me is I want to know my trends. I want to go take it with me when I go somewhere else and be able to say, this is my history. This is what surgeries I've had. This is what my current status is. My blood pressure's this. My heart rate's this. It's better or worse than it used to be, because that gives the picture that the doctors need to give me the care I need, right? And so we go through that, and so this is actually a good segue into our app. One of our things that we realized is, and here's the other side of that, is you and I kind of don't pay attention to our medical information until we need it, until we're sick, right? And so, to be able to get people to put their medical information onto the blockchain, to go get and do that, they might not be motivated unless they're sick or they're really dealing with some health crisis, and then they're like, yeah, I want to get it and put it on there. There's just not a motive. And so what we decided, and I think is pretty wise that we decided to do this, is we said, let's start with some things that will engage the community, get a big community of followers. And so we created an app, and that is a move to earn app, but we did it a little bit different. We didn't just do steps and that, because that can be gamed. You can put your watch on on the dog. I've seen these videos that have gone around of like these phones, on these phone things in China, like 100 phones, and they're all just shaking and they're just mining move to earn tokens, doing it that way. But that's not really helping people. So we chose to do heart rate, which is much harder to game, right? And so it's your heart rate. And so if you have elevated heart rate for 30 minutes a day, that's what the science says. Yeah. Pretty much over and over in many, many studies, is one of the best things. It's still, exercise is the best thing for your overall health that anybody can do. And so we're like, let's start there, and let's create that where we'll incentivize people and reward them with digital rewards when they exercise, when they hit those minimums of 30 minutes a day, elevated heart rate. And it's not crazy. You don't have to be like an athlete and run a marathon. It can be it's like 25%, I think, is the way the studies show, of your base heart rate. If it's over 25%, you're getting the health benefits that are most important. So we measure and follow the data, the studies. And so we walk people into that, and then we say, well, what's another issue that we have? We have, around the world, and especially in the newer generation, seems like mental wellness is like the biggest pandemic, right? We talk about,
especially after COVID.
Yeah, after COVID, everybody was lonely and depressed, and it was really hard. And so mental wellness is a big thing. Well, mental wellness, and we could talk a long time about this, but mental wellness is a thing that you don't treat until you're in urgent, until it's a panic mode, until they're so depressed they can't do something, or heaven forbid they're wanting to hurt themselves or do something bad, or they can't function. Then we go and we start treating with medications to numb it, and we start treating with, and it's the same thing. Like, we ignore our health physically until we're having a heart attack, and now we're going to exercise. Well, we need to exercise before we get the heart attack. We need to take care of our mental wellness before we get to the urgent states that we need help with. And so what we have is we partnered with a company, Canary Voice. It's really awesome, and we're the first ones to actually have a blockchain kind of application of it. They use AI and machine learning to track and trend. It's 2,500 plus biomarkers in your voice. Biomarkers. It doesn't matter the language that you speak. It works in many languages. It works in. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. It's not listening to the words you say. It listens and it tells you if you're depressed, if you have anxiety, if your energy level. And so what this is now I can kind of pre-assess myself, and I can check. It's like checking your heart rate or stepping on a scale. I can check in and see, hey, am I starting to get a little bit stressed? Yeah, I'm out of my norm. It'll kind of set your norm and track and trend over time, like your personal, because some people might be a little bit more lower energy or low stress. Some people might run higher stress because we're all different. But the AI will figure that out and will tell you you're out of your normal range. And now what? What can you do to help do that? So we can attack it before you get in a space of urgency where you're so depressed you can't function. So we want to track physical health, or exercise, mental health, your sleep, like you said. All these components go into your overall health, and we want to incentivize the right behaviors. Incentivize for you checking in on your mental wellness and knowing. One other just little quick story. As a father, this is incredibly powerful. We have it right now for the individual account, but we're working on developing on our next versions coming up here. We'll have a family account thing, because my kids, my teenagers or even younger, how was your school? How was your day at school today? What do they say? Fine. I don't know. Try talking to them. Sometimes you don't know, and you try to be intuitive as a parent and see what you can do to help. You get them to talk into this, and you reward them. Go, hey, talk into this. Just talk about your video game or your best friend. Just talk about
Fortnite.
Yeah, talk about football for 20 seconds, and it'll give me as the father a reading, and I can go, oh, there's something going on. They are really depressed right now. Now I'm going to focus more on this child. I'm not just going to. And I, as a parent, I love that. I'm like, because I want to help. Everybody wants to help the people they love to do better, feel better, and so our app is doing many things. And we have many more things: sleep, and we get nutrition, and you track some of your vital stats, your weight, your blood pressure, your stuff. We're starting to build these things out that are coming out in our app. Just released like 3 months ago. Wow. And it just came out 3 months ago with the first version. And we keep adding more and more features, right? The next version's out. And here's what we'll say to kind of bring the conversation full circle. The idea is now, if I have a history of my exercise and it's tracked and trended on the blockchain and it's there, I have a history of my mental state and where I'm at. I have a history of my sleep and tracked and trend of getting good sleep and how that fits in. I have my other vital statistics, your weight, your blood pressure, your other things. And, we can add in other labs and other stuff eventually. You have nutrition, and you have all these things. That's the beginning of your medical record. Yeah. And now you go, now you have a record where I'm owning my data. I take my data to a doctor and I go, doctor, this is who I am based on my medical profile. Here's the information. And now you add in the other things that the doctors need, and we grow into that with other versions of the app. Now all of a sudden people own and have their medical record. It's on the blockchain. Wow. It's immutable. It goes with them everywhere. You can, it's accessed the way a blockchain works with distributed computing. You can access it anywhere. You just need a phone or be able to log into your account, and it's yours. It's not the system. So that's kind of the vision.
And,
right?
I can imagine within the future where more update will come and more people start to join the app. Obviously, it will help your family, because if your sons or your daughters know what their parents are main issue they have in their health, maybe they can prevent something for themselves in the future. Yeah. So, by the way, guys, if you want to make sure to download the app or be part of the Galvan community, we will leave the links somewhere here below. Okay. So we will leave it below so people can really access to the app, because I'm pretty sure they will love it. I downloaded it yesterday, so I started to use it already. I really like it. I like to interview people of projects that I like, and Galvan is one of them, because for me, health is the most important, But also crypto is my passion. Mm-hmm. And this is a question for you. If you have to change your career right now for something else, what would you do?
My wife has asked me this once in a while, and I said, I don't know. I am so passionate about what we're doing. I don't know. I love the trajectory we're on. We're getting good progress. I mean, I was explaining to you as we met, I'm like, we're starting to get adoption. Yeah. We have a live blockchain. We have a live token. We have things that are out and going, and we're right there. And so now we're just trying to get more adoption. And if people come in, and if they want, health and wellness and in their life, we're trying to, That's a really good question, Andres, and I don't think I haven't thought through it. I wouldn't do anything else right now. I would be right here doing this.
Crypto G.
Forever. I would be a crypto. I'm definitely converted to crypto and blockchain. I do think it's the solution, and I'm excited to see a true use case, true utility of using blockchain technology in other industries, other aspects of our lives, because I think that I think it's extremely powerful. I love it.
Jeff, and to wrap it up, so according to you, who is the OG of the crypto and blockchain space, the number one OG?
Well, I like I said, I had my friend who introduced me, who taught me a lot. But I know this is a little bit corny, a little bit cheesy, but I'm like, I still go back to the Bitcoin white paper, to Satoshi, whoever that is. I'm just, because those principles are, to me, I'm like, that's what we stick to. And so there's a handful of people that I've become aware of and watch, that were with that. But without knowing who that is, that's still the guiding principles for me. I try to watch those. I want to be a purist,
By the way, Satoshi Nakamoto, you're watching this, go and download Galvan. So
introduce yourself. Yes, please. Come join our project. We love you.
Go download Galvan so you feel in a better shape. I don't know who you are, but you will be in a better shape.
Love it.
It has been amazing having the show. Thank you so much for.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting me. You didn't come.
I came. Oh, you came here to us, but thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
I'm pretty sure we're going to see more of Galvan and you and the whole ecosystem of Connect around the globe. So I'm quite excited to start to do this podcast with you guys. I'll see you very soon. I'll see you in the app. I'll see you in Galvan.
That's right.
Some competition.
Yes. We have challenges. We can compete against each other. Who gets the more streaks of heart minutes and stuff. So
there we go.
There we go.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.